Okay, so here's my lesson plan, and here is my passage that I'm going to be reading. I've made some notes along the way. As you can see, I've got other notes, and I will upload all of this when I upload the link to the video. This is going to be my student acting, or my friend acting as my student. And I also have a copy of the passage for the student. Okay, so have you ever found an object that has been special to you?
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of an object?
My Polly Pocket.
Your Polly Pocket. Okay, so did you think that your Polly Pocket brought you luck?
Yeah, sort of, when I was playing with it.
Yeah? Would you like to tell me about that?
About my Polly Pocket?
Yeah, like tell me how you think it brought you luck.
Well, anytime I would go over to my best friend Hannah's house, we always played a lot with my Polly Pockets and her Polly Pockets, and so it brought us luck in our playtime.
Okay, well that's cool. Okay, so one thing that we're going to be talking about today is there are a couple of words in here, and for example, let's look at your copy, okay? Alright, so I want you to flip to the second page. Okay, and in the first line you see the word looked, okay? And you notice how the ed at the end says t instead of d? Okay, well, do you know why?
Nope.
Okay, well that's because it is an unvoiced sound, so it's going to make the t sound. Okay, and now look on the second line and you will see the word landed. Okay, did you find it?
Yes.
Okay, and you notice how it has the same ed ending as looked did, right? But it sounds different. Can you say looked?
Looked.
Okay, now say landed.
Landed.
Good. So you notice how the ed said sound, the ed says d instead of t, like in looked. Okay, well that's because that sound is voiced. Okay, alright, and then also we're going to look at a couple of vocabulary words that you need to know. So I'm going to get this back. I don't want you reading it. But one of the vocabulary words that you need to know, so you know what the story is about, is lovely. Do you have an idea of what lovely means?
Well, love.
Okay. Well, you might think that because it's lovely. It's a variation of love. But in this concept, it's going to mean something that's really pretty. Okay? So like she looked very lovely today. So she looked very pretty today. Okay? And then another word that we're going to talk about is coiled. Do you know what coiled means? No? Okay. So coiled is something that is wound or twisted around something. So the little girl coiled the string around the pin. So she wound it around the pin. So it was twisted around the pin. Okay, so what I want you to do is I'm going to give you our passage that we're going to read, okay? And it's called The Lucky Cricket. But what I want you to do is I want you to read this first page and stop, okay? Read it silently. know who is telling the story? Is it Ling Ling or is it the cricket?
Neither.
Neither. Okay. Well, we're going to find out who that is, okay? Just kind of remember that. From here on out, I would ask her to read by page the rest of the passage, asking her questions. But I'm going to ask her to kind of read them quickly, just for time's sake, so you're not sitting there listening to silence. Okay, so now I want you to read this page silently. Okay, so do you know what's happening?
There was a crane that came, and Ling Ling thought that it was because of her lucky cricket, and her cricket said no.
Okay, so do we know who's telling the story now?
No.
No?
I
Okay.
think Ling Ling.
Okay. All right, now go on to the next page, and what I want you to do is I want you to read the last 2 pages. So you're going to read this, and then I want you to go on to the next page and read that as well. Okay, now read the next page. Okay, so go back to the 3rd page. Okay, do you think the cricket is lucky?
Not on this page.
Okay, well, what do you think at the end of the story? Do you think the cricket was lucky? Yes, I believe so too. So, what do you think that the author was trying to convince us?
That the cricket was lucky.
Yeah, that the cricket was lucky, or that other objects can be lucky, right? Right, okay. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to look back through and see if there were any other challenging parts that you didn't quite understand or that you may have questions about.
Who's telling the story?
Okay, that's a good question because it's never really very clear who was telling the story. Because we have Ling Ling who is talking, but we also have the cricket who is talking too, right? Okay, well, the narrator of the story is just simply a narrator. It's someone who's just narrating. And then when Ling Ling talks, she comes in and there's her words, and then the cricket, and then it goes back to the narrator.
So the narrator is quoting cricket and Ling Ling.
Yes, the narrator is quoting Ling Ling and the cricket. So is there anything else that you don't understand?
What's a crane?
A crane is a bird that has a really long neck and has really long legs. And most of the time they're white, and so they're really tall, and you see them around lakes and stuff.
Is Ling Ling Chinese?
Well, she might be. Looking by her pictures, looking by the illustrator's pictures, She does kind of look a little Chinese, yes.
Is a coil snake, is it, a water snake, is it poisonous?
Most of the time water snakes are. They're usually called water moccasins, is what we usually call them. But yes, they are poisonous.
I don't like snakes.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay, so is that it? Is there anything else that you need clarification on?
Nope.
Okay, good deal. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to write me a 5-sentence summary of the story. Can you do that for me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. So from here on out, I would meet with other students who have learning disabilities, pull them to my table, and let them ask questions about things that they didn't understand so that maybe I could better explain it to them and give them a little more one-on-one time. But this concludes my lesson, and I hope you enjoy.